OCM Nachalcha CM Sinisnat Marco Hatch. Good afternoon, friends and relatives. My name is Marco Hatch. I'm a member of the Samish Indian Nation and associate professor in environmental science at Western Washington University. This video is just a short introduction to the course. We'll delve more deeply into the different sections, but I just want to take a bit of time to introduce myself, some of the course expectations, and where we're going to go with this quarter. As I mentioned, I'm a member of the Samish Indian Nation, which is headquartered in Anacortes, with our traditional territory throughout the San Juan Islands. I actually grew up in eastern Washington, in Yakima, Washington, and then moved to Bellingham and attended Western for a short while, then completed my degree at my associate's degree at Whatcom Community College. Took a few years off school, did a few other things, and then went back to school at University of Washington and graduated with a bachelor's from the School of Aquatic and Fishery Sciences. From there, I moved to Scripps Institution of Oceanography, where I completed my doctorate. Post graduation, I was hired at Northwest Indian College on the Lummi Reservation, which is the only tribal college in this area, to found and build out their marine research program. So I worked there for about 5 years. Was awarded around $7 million worth of grants, built out a 4,200 square foot standalone research lab, multiple trucks and boats, a pretty active and still very active research program. And then in 2016, I moved to Western, and I'm an associate professor now. And this class was the first class I really got to develop, and the general idea is looking at indigenous resource management in comparison and contrast to what we think of as like modern or Western ecosystem management. Meaning, how do we interact with the plants, animals, and nature, and how does that management instill resilience and sustainability? And we'll kind of unpack those terms. They're a bit different. But how does that interaction lead to more of what we want or less of what we don't want? Things like that. So it's not a 100% sort of indigenous grounded TEK type course. The intention is to really have paired readings, to think about if we want more cedar trees, if we want more salmon, there's multiple ways of going about that. And looking at the way that it's been done for thousands of years and sort of the way it's been done now, and what's that end result. And specifically trying to draw on a lot of the tools and technologies that have been used for thousands of years and understanding the ecological principles behind them, and then trying to bring that into modern management as well. As we'll start to unpack, that there's a lot that goes into indigenous resource management beyond the act. A lot of it's the hierarchy of humans and nature, and a lot of it's built around cultural identity and cultural practices. Our primary focus is going to be on what's the ecological result of those, and how does that differ, compare, similar to other things that are going on today. I think this is a useful, interesting class in its own right, and we should all take it and love it for that. However, realizing that at some point in time you're going to stop going to school and probably want employment. I think one of the attractive aspects of this class is to help gain that better understanding of how to speak about indigenous groups, how to understand how Coast Salish people in particular have been working with the land for a long time, and being able to put that into context and in that same sort of framework as Western and modern ecosystem management. Now that's useful from an employment perspective because tribes are one of the main employers for natural resource technicians and professionals in this area, and I think if you're applying to those sorts of jobs, having this background experience will certainly give you a leg up. So I think that there's a huge value in that space. This course is a fair amount of work, and my expectation is for you to keep up with the readings, to engage in the content. The course is designed to have a wide variety of authors and a wide variety of types of reading. And as we'll go through, there'll be a frequent number of reading quizzes. Those are designed to ensure that you can pick up the key points of it. Not necessarily a quiz on every single word. Did you read every word? But do you understand how to read a paper, and what are the main lessons or key takeaways from that paper? This is a lecture lab course and a WP credit, and I'll spend more time talking about the lab and how we're going to do that. In addition to the reading, there's also a large final project that takes up a big chunk of the course. We'll work on that throughout the quarter, but the idea is you'll delve deeply into one specific topic and build that out in a variety of ways. And so you'll have both sort of a deep dive into a specific species, but then also a broad overview of ecosystem management from mountaintop to seafloor bottom. So we'll cover a lot of topics. I would love to go into greater depth in any one of those topics, but the purpose here is to put things into perspective and context, and to really look at a bunch of different examples, tie them in through a resilience framework, and tie them in through a sustainability framework to a lesser extent. So thank you for engaging with content. We'll have additional videos to break down the specifics of what we'll be doing this quarter. I just want to take a bit of time to introduce myself and welcome you to the course. So thank you for choosing to spend your time with ESCI 404, Indigenous Management.